In this video, I'll share with you a little known TradingView indicator that I think will help a lot of new crypto traders. And this is not the MACD, the RSI. And one thing I'll mention is that this would be complete clickbait if I said what the real indicator really should be, which is the human mind. The human mind is the single best indicator ever created, but you probably would be upset if I did a whole video on that, right? So this indicator you can find on TradingView, and I don't have it up right now, but we'll turn it on. And the name of it is the SMA gain. And you'll see here as I turn it on here, a couple things show up. And what this indicator does, and let's go here and let me first show you how you find it, because that way you don't have to wait to the end of the video to see how you can actually find this indicator yourself. So you go to indicators and you'll see here it says SMA gain. So all you have to do is type in SMA gain. And the indicator is the one SMA gain for profit trailer by Bolt Indicators by Helmy. Okay. So if I actually click on that, you'll see that it's already there. So I've already turned it on. So that's how you actually turn on the indicator. So let's talk about this indicator, and I'll share where you should potentially put your stop losses. Now, one thing is that I use a tool for stop losses. You'll find the tool link down below. You'll definitely want to check out that tool if you're not already using it. It is an affiliate link, so I'll be completely upfront there, but it's a tool I use on quite a bit of my trades, and actually I'll talk about how you can use it on trades with this actual indicator. Okay? So what does this indicator do? Well, you'll notice a couple things right away is, let me turn it off and let me turn it back on real quick. We're looking at Verge, Bitcoin, and we're looking at 5-minute candles. Let's actually change this to 1-hour candles. So we'll look at 1-hour candles. There's been a little bit of a sell-off there. And what we'll do is we'll turn this on, and you'll notice a couple things. So first up, there's this yellow line here. And then there's these 3 lines here that really create a channel, okay? And you'll also notice that at various points in the chart, there is these green bars, and then it highlights the section of the channel that would be, and it should be pretty obvious, this is where you would buy. Obviously, if you bought here, you would have a pretty good day, right? You'd have 102 upside. That's not a bad, that's more than a day, obviously. But if you bought there, you would have had a pretty good upside. And I actually did buy down. Actually, I bought at 470, I believe, on this actual chart. So I bought on 470, and I just sold up here. But this isn't about my trades. Here's why I like this indicator, right? First up, now everybody wants an indicator that tells them exactly where to buy, okay? And this indicator kind of does that, okay? Look at this. Look, if you were to buy in these sections where it's telling you to buy, you're doing some pretty good trades, right? That's a pretty good upside, 47%. If you buy here, you have to wait a little bit, but you still have a 10% upside eventually. Maybe you exited right here. And I don't know if exited is a proper word, so I probably should say exit. So you exit the trade here. Obviously, if you bought here back on the 30th and you rode this up here, that's a pretty good trade there as well. Now let's look at a different time frame though. Let's look at the actual 5 minutes. This works on even 5 minutes. And I'll talk about what this indicator does at a high level. So you'll see here, if we would have entered the trade here on the 5 minute when it turned green, we would have an upside, obviously, of roughly 24% or so. Of course, you're not going to try to time the top or bottom. Maybe you would. I did scalp this trade as well. So I scalped XVG and I got out a couple times here and scalped it on each retracement. So now, one of the things you'll notice here is this would be a good trade on the 5 minute, but you'd have to be out pretty quick. And then it starts going against you, right? Now, that doesn't mean that it's not going to turn around, right? You'll see there's some decent volume here. So there's some kind of stopping volume here. But this trade right here, if you would have bought on this signal, obviously that you see here, you would be down right now. And I think that there's maybe a little bit of a downside here more on XVG. It's hard to say, right? So it's real simple. I could explain what this does. All it is it's a simple moving average, a slow one, and a fast one. And then there is a point where that simple moving averages and the actual price action gets into that simple moving average. And then it through that indicator, it tells you that, hey, this is probably a good place you should look at maybe possibly buying, possibly doing an entry, right? That's all it is. And it works on every time frame. So if we go to the 15-minute, you'll see here it's just crossed this on the 15-minute. And this is really how you should use this indicator, is look at multiple time frames, right? Well, on the half hour, we're not even near a buy zone. On the 45-minute, we're not near a buy zone. On the 1 hour, are we near a buy zone? No, we're way above a buy zone, right? On the 4 hour, are we near a buy zone? Nope, we're not near a buy zone. And you can just tell just by that run up. Now, if we go to the 5-minute, if you want to do a quick scalp, you might be in the buy zone, right? So this would be something that you'd want to exit out pretty quickly, maybe within probably 5%, 4%, but you're within a buy zone of a scalp, right? You see how that works? And what this is basically doing is it's painting simple moving averages here, and then it's creating a channel. And then when the price action gets within this channel, it's at certain times it's painting a buy signal, okay? I could get into more detail and talk about math and everything else, but that's basically what it's doing, and that's what most new traders want. They want to know, when do I buy, right? Even though it's more important about when you exit, but that's fine. This doesn't tell you when to exit, it tells you when to buy, okay? Now, and I'll say this again, even though I just said it, it's more important where you exit than where you buy, okay? Everybody wants to know, where do I buy? Where do I buy? In order to be a successful trader and to maximize your profits and to have winning trade after winning trade, your ability to understand when to exit a trade is actually more important than when to enter a trade, okay? So I'll cover that in another video most likely, but just keep that in mind. This is a great indicator for telling you where to enter a trade. And you'll notice here it's usually on a downtrend, right? Everybody says buy the dip, buy the dip. Well, this will support that whole meme of buying the dip, even though I don't like that. But usually, I'd say the majority of the time, these dips are pretty solid trades, okay? Now, here's my advice on stop losses, okay? You should be trading with a stop loss, once again, with this tool. I'm going to amend that. You don't have to trade with a stop loss. So I know a couple people that trade pretty successfully without a stop loss. But I believe all new traders should trade with a stop loss, okay? Now here's the stop loss that I think works best for this indicator, which is 3%. So, and let's go through this, okay? Let's actually look at this, all right? So let's do the back of the napkin math of this right here and see whether or not the 3% stop loss makes sense, okay? This is how you can do this yourself on any chart. And we'll go to another chart and do this. So we're on XVG, and I just said that 3% is the actual stop loss you want to have. So you were watching the chart here, and it got here and it turned green, and you said, okay, I'm going to enter that trade. So you entered the trade here, right? And if we go down, 3% is down here at this tick mark, right around here. You'd still be in that trade. And of course, the most important thing is, where do you exit that trade? Well, you could have done an exit right around 6 to maybe 7%. That's a pretty decent scalp, right? So let's go to the next one, okay? The next one here, it painted green again. Let me zoom in a little bit. Painted green again. And let's say you entered right here, and 3%, you're still in that trade. Now, if we go to the upside, you're not looking to make just 1 or 2%, right? You're looking to make 4 or 5, but it didn't reach that. So you're still in this trade, but eventually here on this candle right here, you would have hit your stop loss, okay? So maybe you've watched one of my previous videos where I share that you don't try to be right. You trade trades that fit your portfolio or your strategy, and that your strategy gives you an edge, right? So you've already identified that, and maybe this indicator is one of your edges. You say this indicator gives you an edge in the market, right? So you say, okay, well, let's enter the trade again, right? And you wait a little bit for a little bit more of a retracement. Maybe it looks like it might break out here. So you enter the trade here, right? And you have a 3% stop loss, 3% stop loss here. You're still you might have got out of this trade now. Depends where you entered, okay? but you're still, you're either in this trade or you're about to get stopped out. Okay. So, but you'll notice it's on a downtrend. Now, you might not have entered this trade just because you saw, obviously, you're a smart trader, right? So you're looking at larger time frames, right? And you're saying, wow, okay, there's a pretty big retracement here. Where is support? You're looking at the hour time frame and you're saying, well, support really probably maybe is here, possibly. You could maybe say that it's really here is where I would say the next possible support area is. Remember, support and resistance is an area. So it's here. So you would be looking at your indicator on the 5 minute. Let's say you want to do 5 minute scalps. And you'd be saying, okay, well, the further it gets down here, I'm getting closer to my buy zone for a potential scalp. Okay? Which is really this area right here. So this area right here. So you might be looking to re-enter on the scalp. So you might hold off a little bit because you don't want to get stopped out again, right? So you want to look for a better entry. But you'll see here, this is a pretty good indicator, isn't it? Let's go to, I don't know, XRP, BTC. And we'll go to Binance. And we will look at XRP, Ripple. You'll see here, where did it show its last entry on Ripple? It hasn't shown up anywhere. So where is the entry? It hasn't really said enter anywhere. And maybe the problem is here. Let's see. Let's go to the 1 hour. Oh, there it is. It's starting to paint. So you'll see here, it said on this downtrend here, hey, this is a good entry for Ripple. And it was. There's a 8% upside. Same with here, right? Let's see if 3% holds up, right? Let's see a place where it doesn't hold up. There really is nowhere that it doesn't hold up. I can see if you'd enter here, 3%, you're still in that trade, right? If you'd enter here, you're still in that trade. If you'd enter here, this on you would have been stopped out. So if you would have entered on this entry signal here, 3% is right about here and you would have been stopped out. And then maybe you would have entered again here, or you would have waited a little bit and entered here, and you'd still be in this trade, right? Now, general rule for me is your stop loss, you should at least double your profit, if not triple. So you'd be looking for 6% there on a 3% stop loss, okay? More as well. And what you can do is you could have your stop trail. So with this tool, you can create a trailing stop. All you have to do is put your take profit level. So this number here that you see here, you put your take profit level to like 60% and then put a trailing stop to 3% and then just get exited, or you would exit on your trailing stop. So you'd be looking to ride that trade as much as you possibly could. That's one way to do it. I do that on a lot of our trades. So this indicator, I didn't go into how to use it because it's pretty simple. I could go into all the math behind it and like simple moving averages and the channels and everything else, but you probably don't care about that. Really, all you really care about is where do I buy, right? This is where you buy. It's pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. That's where you buy. And then I already shared the rules for stop loss. If you get stopped out at 3%, what do? You buy again. Pretty simple. It's I can't make it any I can't make it any more simplistic than that. I'll go to one more chart. Let me just see something that's popping up here. SALT, or let's say DGD. I think Bitcoin is on a retracement right now, so DGD is probably in kind of an up move. It typically happens. So look at here. 3% stop loss. You entered here. You'd be out right here, right? And then you'd re-enter here, and you'd be out again. Now you'd enter here, and you'd be out again, right? Now if you entered here, you'd still be in this trade. Now you probably wouldn't on DGD just because, look, you're a smart trader, right? And you know that, hey, when Bitcoin takes a retracement or a dive, people get into DGD. You know that already, right? So that's what happens typically on DGD, is that Bitcoin will go down and then people will get into DGD and then it will go up. That happens quite a bit. So let's look at another one though. Let's look at SALT, actually LTC. LTC USD on Coinbase. Let's look at that. Pretty clear signal here. Good place to buy. Good place to buy. Good place to buy, right? This whole area is a good place to buy. So it's painting these places. Now, obviously here on this downtrend, it's continuing to go down, right? That's why setting stop losses and not worrying about being right and entering a trade that you think has an upside, has a long potential, is just the way you should be trading. And I have another video about that says don't try to be right. That kind of goes into that in more detail, so you'll definitely want to check that out. Now, this works on any time frame. We can go to the daily, okay? I already mentioned this. But the daily, you'll see here, it's pointing at various times where on the daily, it's pretty much pointing everything now is a buy. Because it comes down to the moving averages, basically. But everything now is a buy, mainly because the historical price of LTC has been, okay, on recency, right? Now, obviously, it's getting close to where it's getting close to this $75 level, but it's got quite a bit of support at this range. So that's this indicator. In recap, how you find it is go to indicators, type in SMA gain, and it is there's another one here. We'll turn that one on, see what that does. So I think it does the same thing. So it obviously does the same thing. So I don't know. I haven't seen that one before. I just saw it. I just literally saw it now. It doesn't seem to draw the channels, but it has this other. I have to check this out. So it says EMA gain and SMA gain. So it's obviously on the exponential moving average and the simple moving average. So you're seeing my discovery of this indicator right now live. And I kind of like the other one better. So this one's okay. Maybe I could change the settings. So I might go in. Oh, okay. So MA. All right. So I see. Yeah. So I'm going to keep this in the video just so you understand sometimes how I look at things. So yeah, I like the other one better for new investors. So this one here is a good one. And I like it because once again, it shows kind of the channel, and I like the channel, and you can kind of see when it's going to approach a channel. That's what I like about this one. So this one here I like because what it shows is that the why I like this one better is because you can see the channel and you can kind of get prepared for the trade, right? So you know when it's going to go to this channel that it's most likely going to enter a trade. Now notice here, it didn't paint as an entry for this trade. So, but it did down here. Now that's because basically the way this usually works is that when it enters this second channel here, this is where it paints that you should make that trade, or you should start looking to see whether or not it's an entry. And one thing I'll say before closing here is indicators, like anything else, they're lagging, but indicators are just part of the picture. You should be looking at volume, you should be looking at price action and everything else, right? BTC, all the above. So, but as far as indicators that I would suggest for a new trader, I think this is a pretty good indicator. Well, that's all for this video. Leave a comment down below or share any thoughts that you have. And if you want to see other videos, please feel free to leave a comment and say what videos you'd like to see. You can see links to the Discord group as well. And then also a document on the primer for trading cryptos. So that's something I update at least once a week. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.